it going, everyone? So today I'm going to be diagnosing a misfire on my 2003 Saab 9.3. If you have a 9.3 with the 2-liter turbo or the 2.8 V6 or even a 9.5 or a 9.3, the OGs that have the DICs like you can see right there, you'll know that misfires are a fairly common issue on these cars. I want to go ahead and describe what a misfire will feel like while you're driving, because I see posts on Facebook all the time of people saying basically you put your foot down and the car's going to shudder and shake and you're not going to get full power. That's basically what a misfire is going to feel like. So this car, having a stage 3 tune on it, it's been having a misfire as of late under full boost. So when that boost gauge starts to max out, it'll start to misfire pretty good. So today I'm going to be doing a couple things to see if I can fix this misfire. And I'm pretty much just going to be going over some common causes of misfires on these cars. So the two major causes of misfires on these cars are, well, one, your coil packs, which are most likely going to be the problem, and two, your spark plugs. Now there can be other causes as well, like your fuel injectors, or I don't even know. There's other causes to misfires as well, but generally speaking, your coil packs or your spark plugs are going to be the problem. Now I have here the dreaded yellow top coil pack. These came on the first couple years of the 9.3, like this one. And if you have these in your car and they haven't failed already, then I am very surprised, because the yellow top coil packs are absolute trash. The black top ones came in the later 9.3, so I would highly recommend getting these if you don't already have them. Basically what I have, some of you 9.3 owners might be a little bit jealous of this, I have like probably about a dozen of them sitting right here in a box that, you know, when I get a misfire like this, I pretty much just swap them out and do that until the problem goes away. So one other thing I might add before we start actually doing some work on the car is that I do not have a check engine light. When I get on when I get on it and the car misfires, I don't get a flashing check engine light or anything. And this seems to be another common issue, is that people don't get a check engine light with this thing. Now if you have a check engine light, I would consider yourself fortunate, because a lot of times it'll tell you what actual cylinder that misfire is coming from. Now in my case, I have no idea. I could try hooking up a Tech 2 to tell me, but even the Tech 2 might not tell me since there's not a code for it. So with that being said, what we're first going to do here is get the spark plugs out, check the gap. I'll show you guys what spark plugs I'm running and which spark plugs you probably should be running in these cars, and I'll put a little table up to show what your gap should be. And then we'll check the coil packs after that and see if that fixes the misfire. So thankfully on the 2.0, the coil packs and spark plugs are very, very easily accessible. On the V6, the front three are very easy to get to, and the back three you've got to do a little bit extra work to get to. But on the 4-cylinder, this is a very simple, like 5-minute job to do, which is very nice. So I'm just using a T30 Torx right here to get this little cover off. So you got that off, you can see your coil packs right there. Now I'm going to stick a flathead in here, kind of pop this up. They come off very easily, actually. You don't even need a flathead, these are just coming off very easily. And then you're going to need a 10mm to get that bolt off. On all four. So once those are all out, you can go ahead and pull your coil packs out. I'm going to lay them right here so that way I know which one is going on each cylinder. So now I've got my socket for the spark plugs, which I would advise getting one that's magnetic. There's one of them. Now I'm noticing right now that two of these almost like weren't tightened down. Like cylinder number 2, or the second one that I did, I don't know if that's actually cylinder number 2 or not, was that one was actually tight. I had to break it loose a little bit. Like that one was actually torqued down how it should have been. But these two were actually on there pretty loosely. Makes me think that maybe they weren't in there the whole way or something. I don't know. See, this one's tight like it should be. So this is the spark plug I'm running, NGK BCP R7ES11s. I'm going to check the gap currently. Now with my tune, I have a buddy that is running basically the same exact tune, and he has his gap to 0.022 inches. So I'm going to gap mine to that, because obviously he doesn't have a misfire on his. So I'm going to go to 0.022 inches. So I've got my little like makeshift spark plug gap thing here. So I've got the right size that I need right here. So I'm going to gap all 4 of them to that. And then I'm going to put a table up right here of what your spark plugs should be gapped at. Now generally they're supposed to be gapped at more, but because my car is tuned, I guess it's recommended that you're supposed to have a little bit of a smaller gap in there. So I'm going to go ahead and gap these now. So before we reinstall the plugs, I'm just going to put a little bit of anti-seize on there, just so that way they come out easy. It's just something you should always do. Just a little bit. You don't need to worry about spraying it around. Threading it in there will spread it around in itself. Alright, now we're ready to put our spark plugs back in. Now they should be torqued, according to WIS, at about 21 foot-pounds or 28 newton meters. So I'm going to go ahead and use my magnetic socket to my advantage here and drop that in there. We're going to do the same thing for the other 3. So there's a few different ways you can go about this. I just grabbed 4 out of the box that I have, because last time I went to the junkyard I grabbed 4 off of a 9.3 that was there. So I'm going to switch out all 4. Of course, if you happen to know what cylinder the misfire is coming from, just swap out that coil pack. But I'm going to go ahead and put these 4 in, and we're going to see if that solves the issue. Car is all back together. Suppose we should take it for a short drive now. See if this misfire is gone. And you know, this isn't something I'm really too worried about, because I don't drive this car hard very often. But I figured it would be something that I should make a video on, because I know it's a common issue with these cars. One thing I actually do want to point out here is, if you're watching this video and your 9.3 is having a rough idle or something like that, one thing I would check for, because we actually had this same problem on one of our 9.5s about 2 months ago, and I actually had it about a month ago on this car, you could have a vacuum leak. There's a bunch of plastic and rubber hoses, small little hoses that run all around the engine bay. You pop your hood and you'll probably see 10 of them. And if one of those pops off, you have a vacuum leak, and then your car might run rough. So I actually had that happen to me with this car when I was out over in Tempe, and you know, being 30 minutes from home, I just popped open the hood and saw it pretty quickly, thankfully, and popped it back on. It's been fine since. One other thing you can try is a compression test on all the cylinders. That's just not something I'm gonna do, but I figure I'll throw it out there. That's one other thing that you can try if you've exhausted all your other options and you still have a misfire. So we're up to operating temperature here. I'm gonna switch it to manual mode. We'll go down to 3rd here. Get onto this little straight stretch right here. that is not good. That's worse. I'm sure you guys can hear that, right? It tries to go into the red boost, and as soon as I do, it's just pop, 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 which is worse than it was doing before. I can tell it's still, like, boost is still building as it's doing it. So I might get new spark plugs, but I've pretty much gone through the process of all of this, so I'm gonna update you guys, I guess, to see if this misfire ends up getting fixed. But as far as I can really tell you guys, that's pretty much the process that you would go through to diagnose a misfire. So although mine isn't fixed right now, and I would most likely attribute that to the new coils being bad or the spark plugs just needing to be replaced, I'm gonna go ahead, go home, try and diagnose that, but I'm just gonna do the same thing over and over again until the car's fixed. No check engine light was flashing once again, which honestly is a little bit frustrating because at least that would tell me what cylinder it's coming from. So yeah, if you guys have any other suggestions as to what you gap your spark plugs at, what you do if your car has a misfire, go ahead and leave those down below in the comments. And one other thing I do actually want to add before I forget is if you do buy new coil packs, don't buy like cheap, like Chinese ones off of Rock Auto or eBay or something. Please just save yourself the money because they're not going to work. Save yourself the money and just spend the extra money and get the good OEM ones, because those are the ones that you're supposed to run, and those are the ones that are going to last you the longest. So that's all I've got for today, guys. I'm gonna go home, actually fix this now, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time.
Check your body.